Twisted Christian. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a very important update about Zion Oil. But before we get started, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you to buy Zion Oil. I'm not telling you to invest in Zion Oil. I am just showing you what's being said and what I am doing with Zion Oil. There's a lot of controversy about Zion Oil, which has been over the last years. And just to kind of break down, back in January of 2019, the beginning of the month, the SEC told them that they were supposed to get their stock in order, and they were given 6 months, and then it was extended, and so here we are now, and they still have not either been delisted, and they have not performed a reverse split. So that's good. But I'm going to go over step by step here really quick so we could get to the end of the news that was just announced, but just to kind of give you a background of this, what's kind of going on with Zion Oil. In my opinion, it seems like the SEC has allowed their extensions to get their stock up, and with everything that's going on in the most recent news. All right, January 14th. This is from the SEC website here on this current report. It says right here, in accordance with NASDAQ listing rule, the company has 180 days or until January 8th to regain compliance with the minimum bid of the price rule. If at any time during the 100-day 80 period, the closing price of the company's common stock is at least $1 for 10 consecutive days, if the company does not regain compliance by July 8th, the company may transfer from the NASDAQ Global Market to the NASDAQ Capital Market and may be eligible for an additional compliance period of 180 days. To qualify for the additional compliance period, the company would have to meet the continued required listing or the listing requirement for market value of publicly held shares and all other requirements for initial listing on the NASDAQ Capital Market, and provide a written notice of NASDAQ intention to cure the bid price deficiency during the additional 180-day compliance period by effecting a reverse stock split if necessary. All right, so they were given that notice, right? So when that time came along, and they got another notice that it was supposed to regain compliance by December 9th, 2019. So they got their extension. So that was filed in June. Yeah, and at some point during that time, the company transferred from the NASDAQ Global Market to the NASDAQ Capital Market. All right, so that gives them a little bit more time. Right, so that date has come and gone, and they did not have to cure the price. All right, and then on October 16, 2019, Zion Oil released a statement about the 3D seismic acquisition phase completed, processing and interpreting remain. All right, so we know that they had the 3D results. They've been going over them for a while now. All right, then we got another update for December 30th, and I did a video about this, and it says we have started our initial phases of sourcing a drilling rig for our 2020 exploration plans. Zion Oil and Gas initial phases of sourcing a drilling rig subject to securing adequate funding. All right, and then on January 7th, because during this time period, everybody was like, okay, what's going on? There weren't any announcements that people were actually looking for. Okay, it says notice of delisting or satisfy a continued listing rule or standard. This was January the 7th. Zion Oil received a written letter from the listing qualification staff of NASDAQ, indicating that based upon the company's continued non-compliance with the dollar bid as set forth in the NASDAQ listing rules, the staff has determined to delist the company's common stock from the NASDAQ Capital Market effective January 16th, unless the company requests a hearing before the NASDAQ hearing panel in a timely manner. The company will request the necessary hearing before the panel, which will stay any further action by the staff, at least pending the ultimate conclusion of the hearing process. During the dependency of the requested hearing before the panel, the company's common stock and warrant securities will remain listed and trading on NASDAQ. Okay, the company is diligently working to evidence compliance with all applicable requirements for continued listing on the NASDAQ Capital Market and intends to submit a plan to the effect of the panel as a part of the hearing process. The company will present its exploration plans with the sourcing of a drilling rig and other information on its prospects that should make any reverse stock split unnecessary to achieve bid price compliance. However, there can be no assurance that the panel will grant the company's request for the continued listing on NASDAQ or that company will be the company will be able to regain compliance with applicable listing criteria within the period of time which may be granted by the panel. In the event that the panel does not accept the company's plan for continued listing of the company's securities on NASDAQ, the company's common stock will be eligible for trading on the OTCQX or OTCQB, which is operated by the OTC Markets Inc., which is in Canada. With this here, it was saying that they had a hearing, right? So the hearing has come and gone. And then here on February 5th, right, this is where it gets really interesting. Zion Oil and Gas, which has an active petroleum exploration license onshore Israel, comprising approximately 99,000 acres, on February 5th, entered into a partially binding letter of intent to purchase a drilling rig, drill pipe, and related equipment for importation into Israel to continue its exploration plans. All right, so it just goes into more about it, about the drilling rig. Zion and the seller plan to immediately begin negotiating a definitive purchase to close the purchase of the rig for an agreed sum of $5.6 million, subject to satisfactory due diligence. The rig purchase will be a cash purchase payable in full at the closing with no financing required. No assurance can be provided that Zion will successfully enter in the rig purchase agreement. On January 24th, now remember this is after the meeting, Zion incorporated a wholly owned subsidiary, Zion Oil Drilling, for the purpose of owning the rig and related equipment. And on January 31st, 2020, Zion incorporated another wholly subsidiary, Zion Drilling Services, to act as a contractor providing such drilling services. When Zion is not using the rig for its own exploration activities, Zion Drilling Services may contract with other operators in Israel to provide drilling service at the market rates then in effect. Okay, so what they did is they purchased, or they're going to purchase, a drilling rig. And the other thing is that of course they didn't have to get any financing for it, and so obviously somebody put up the money for the drilling rig. You're not going to put up that kind of money unless you know for sure that there is something there, in my opinion. So on the Zion Oil website, they just basically announced the same thing here. So what I found is that, this whole thing with the reverse split and everything, with the price supposed to trying to get up to $1, which it almost did there back a couple months ago. But I personally don't think that they would go through all this effort if they didn't have any great chance of finding oil. And that's one reason why I go to like the Zion Oil forums, or on these different sites that have where people can discuss this thing. So this guy, let's see, on Yahoo Finance Conversations about Zion Oil, and I'm just going to read what he said. It says, think about it. If the purchase of the new drilling rig was not legitimate, then why would Zion Oil create two subsidiaries to support the purchase? On January 24th, Zion incorporated wholly owned subsidiary, Zion Oil, for the purpose of owning the rig and related equipment. They also created another subsidiary, Zion Drilling Services. All right. Now, the best part of the drilling rig purchase, this is what he's saying, the best part of the drilling purchase will be a cash purchase payable in full at closing with no financing required. All that is fact, not speculation. Because of the major steps Zion Oil is taking, there's no danger of a reverse split or delisting. The SEC on January 9, 2020 filing states the company is diligently working to evident compliance with all applicable requirements for continued listing on the NASDAQ capital market, and intends to submit a plan to that effect to the panel as part of the hearing process. The company will present its exploration plans with the sourcing of a drilling rig and other information on its prospects that should make any reverse split unnecessary to achieve bid price compliance. Of course, he says, don't miss this golden opportunity, buy and hold Zion Oil. And that's the thing, and he's right. Zion Oil is doing everything they can to not do a reverse split and from being delisted. Now, in my experience of what I've seen a lot of companies do a reverse split. And they're going to do that if they know for a fact that they're not going to be able to get that trading price up back to $1. I've had several stocks that I've purchased over the last year that have done reverse splits. and they did not go through the same process as trying to delay it, to have hearings and everything. They just went ahead and did it. So I think this is a whole different situation, and I really believe that this is going to be an investment that is going to change things. Whenever they find oil, when that date is announced, that remains to be seen, and everything else that will come after that. So I wanted you guys to give you guys an update. So things are looking good for Zion Oil, and like I said, right now, for me, the price is almost is at 26 cents, 26 cents and a half a share. It could go back down. It could go down but I usually try to buy in the dips. For me, around the 25 cents price is pretty good. 26, 25. So I probably will pick up a few more at this point, and I will continue as time goes on to pick up as whether I get additional free stocks. And for me, the best place to buy Zion Oil is Robinhood, and the links are down below in the description. And it's easy. You can buy 1, 2, or 5. On other trading sites, you have to buy a minimum of 100 when it's a penny stock. So that's why, to me, it's the best. And so when you guys do sign up, you will get a free stock. 3 days later, you can turn around and sell it, and then buy whatever stock you want. I use a lot of my free stocks to buy the Zion Oil. I'm hopeful this is just another investment. Whenever it comes, it could come this year, it could come next year. But I think with everything that's going on with the NASDAQ listing requirements, Zion Oil is just moving very quickly. They're moving very quickly and very fast to get something going, especially to their stock. Anyways, thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe. The more likes this video receives, the more that it's recommended. And with that being said, Twisted Christian out.